Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Did You Know? Policy Edition. I am here with our Jessie Gruner, Director of Community Innovations. Are there deadlines for voting registration leading up to the election?
Yeah, so our what we're on the clock for right now is October 7th is our next big deadline. That is our voter registration deadline. So whether you want to vote by mail, vote in person, you have to be registered to vote. And our last day to do that in Arizona is October 7th.
How do people register to vote?
Yeah, you can register to vote in a number of different ways. The easiest way, I think, is to do online. You can register to vote if you go to www.arizona.vote, and you can start the registration process, and you can do either electronically. You can also go in person to any of your county registration offices, and you can also send in a mail form. So if you want to print out a mail form and mail that in, you can register to vote by mail, in person, online. There's lots of different ways, very accessible. And so starting that process, as long as if you're going to be registering to vote by mail, you just have to mail in your registration packet it has to be postmarked by October 7th. So again, still that October 7th deadline for any of those forms.
Before October 7th.
Yeah.
Are there any other deadlines that we should know about or other resources people should go to?
Yeah, so deadlines may vary county by county. October 25th is the deadline to request an early ballot. October 29th is the deadline to have, if you are doing a ballot by mail, that you'd have to mail that ballot back in. So to see those specific kind of deadlines, I'd say go to your county recorder office. You can either Google, Gila County Recorder's Office or Gila County elections or Pima County elections, Maricopa County elections, Yavapai County elections, and that'll take you right to your county recorder's office, and that'll have all of your specific information about your deadlines specific to your counties. It'll also have all of your specific voter information. So if you wanted to go and look at your voter status, you can go look at your voter status. I recommend everybody go look at their voter status, even if you're like, I know I'm registered. Your voter status will tell you things like what is your voting preference that you've requested. If you haven't requested a mail-in ballot, but you're planning to vote by mail, just make sure that you've signed up to receive your mail-in ballot. Not all counties do this, but a lot of the counties also have text message alerts now, so that it's like tracking a package. When they're preparing your ballot, you'll get a text message that says, your ballot is being prepared. Your ballot was put in the mail. So that tells me like, oh, I can go check the mail and my ballot's going to be there. And it's also really cool because when I've mailed in my ballot, it'll say your ballot is in the mail, we've received your ballot, and we've counted your ballot. So the other thing that it will have is it'll have a sample ballot. So sample ballots are available 45 days before an election. So online you can go to your county elections office. Usually you'll have to sign into like a portal, and then you could say view my sample ballot, and that'll give you, an exact replica of what your ballot will look like. Everybody will get a sample ballot in the mail, but that's about 11 days before an election. So if you're planning to do early voting and you're waiting for your sample ballot to come in the mail, it might be better to head to your county recorder's office to take a look at what that sample ballot looks like beforehand. Where Arizona.vote is awesome for like general Arizona elections information, your county recorder offices are going to be your one-stop shop for anything on your voter registration and on your election procedures. So that'll have all of your voter deadlines specific for your county.
So what if I have a mail-in ballot and I missed the deadline to mail it back? What do I do?
Yeah, you can take it to any of your in-person offices as long as it's received by the time that that voting site closes. So if you are like, oh no, it's election day, it's November 5th, and I still have my mail-in ballot, look for your closest. There's either drop boxes that are available for receiving mail-in ballots, or you can just go to an in-person voting site, and they will all be able to accept a mail-in ballot that you can drop off the day of as well.
So this year there are a lot of things on the ballot.
Yeah.
How can people find more information about it, and what resources do we have to offer?
Yeah, so the ballot this year is one of the longest in recent history, like the last 20 years. It's a 2-page ballot, so it's going to be all the way on the front, and then there's going to be lots of things on the back as well. So we're trying to spread the word of give yourself extra time to fill out your ballot, or to, when you're voting in person, make sure you're giving yourself enough time, because it will take a little bit to go through all the federal elections, the state, the county, all the municipality things. So just giving yourself extra time is the best piece of advice we have. There are 13 propositions, so there are a lot of propositions, a lot of things they're going to be asking you about. And there's something called a publicity pamphlet, which a lot of people might see in the mail. It looks like a newspaper magazine. This year it's over 300 pages, so it is a big, thick thing that will come in the mail, maybe like a little mini phone book. That's what it will look like. That has all the information on your propositions and what they are specifically doing. And then it also has positions either for or against by different organizations that have submitted a statement to be in the publicity pamphlet. So that's going to be one source. And that's available also online at your county recorder's office. So if you go to their website, that should be available around 45 days before the election. You should see the publicity pamphlet would be available in downloadable form. And it can also go, if you've requested an online copy, it will get emailed to you. And if not, it'll just go through your regular mail. And that has a ton of information about how to fill out your ballot, depending on the way you'd like to fill out your ballot. And it's another reason that I say visit your county recorder website, because they have all of that information that's going to be specific to your county.
Are there any other hot tips that you want to share with anyone?
Yeah, I can't say enough. Again, go to your county recorder office website. And also, there's a sample ballot that will get mailed to you. So that usually will be about 11 days before election, as I just mentioned. And you can see that sample ballot online as well. I'd say fill out your sample ballot before you go to the polls, whether that's in person, where you can fill out your sample ballot and bring that to your polling station. You can just transfer your information right onto your real ballot that they'll give you when you get to vote in person, or fill out your sample ballot before you transfer that to your mail-in ballot. There are so many questions. There's so many, again, between the propositions and how many different federal and county and state elections that are going to be taking place this election. Got all your mistakes that could have been made. You can erase those on your sample ballot and before you get to your real ballot. So
I went in person for the primary election, and there was one part where I was like, oh, I don't remember this, or like something I wanted to clarify, and I'm like, I felt like looking at my phone. I'm like, it made me think of school when you're like not allowed to look at your phone. I'm like, I feel like this is bad.
That's why, no, that's like literally what we all do. And so that's why I'm like, fill it out at your house. Because like, you're like, can I bring my phone out? Am I allowed to do that? Like, it's super intimidating to vote in person. So like knowing what you can and cannot do, that's why if you just have it filled out, you just bring your sample ballot and you just tell them, hey, I have my sample ballot. I'm going to transfer my answers on here. You don't have to stress about researching right on the spot. It's awesome.
Do you have an election day plan?
Everybody should have an election day plan. Whether you're voting in person or you're going to be mailing in your ballot, I'd say the best thing you can do for yourself is give yourself a plan, because it's stressful to vote in an election. It's stressful if it's your first time voting, and going to the election office or your polling place for the first time can be intimidating, and then you have this really long ballot. So making a plan for yourself can be one way to help ease some of the anxiety and stress around elections. So I think making a plan for yourself is one of the best things that you can do. I get my sample ballot and I get my mail ballot and I get my publicity pamphlet, and I sit down in a quiet place, and I have my computer usually near me too, because I do this for a living, and there's a lot of elections that I don't know about. So I still like to spend at least probably like an hour or two just like researching some of the candidates that weren't on my radar. And so I will use either the internet or my publicity pamphlet, and I'll then mark my sample ballot. And then once I have that in a good place, and I make lots of errors on that, so it's like really comforting to know that I have that trial run, then I'll transfer that over to my mail-in ballot. I'm one of those people that like has a mail-in ballot, but I always love to drop it off during election day because I like the sticker. Although they mail you the sticker now, the I voted sticker, and Arizona always does like really fun I voted stickers. So getting an I voted sticker is part of my election day plan. But there's something I like about just going physically in to drop off my ballot at the place, just to kind of see, what the environment's like. And if you are dropping off your mail-in ballot, you shouldn't have to wait in line. There should be a place you can like pop right in and drop it off. So that's my plan. That's what I like to do. And so if you haven't thought about it, I'd say, talk to someone, do it with someone bring a friend, drop off your ballots together, or go vote in person together, fill out your ballot with somebody that you know and trust. Like that's, whatever you can do to make the stress or the anxiety of election day less. I'd say do that. Do you have a plan?
I do. I also have the mail-in ballot option. I like to do it at home, so I have my publicity pamphlet and go through it and take time. And then I also like to go in person to drop it off. It gives me a little bit more comfort to go in person and drop it off.
100% agree. I totally agree. I like that, and there it's officially there in the place it's supposed to be. Our mail is great too, though.